One of the things that I've been really struggling with is stepping out of the pool of chaos. And that's what I've been calling about the last decade, the last 10 years of what I've been doing in my business, personally, growing, and why it's important for me to continue to become more aware of what the pool of chaos is and why it's important in stepping out. So this is me talking a little bit about what I'm going through in my business right now and what's led me up to where I'm at currently and what I hope to achieve afterwards by slowing down. And if you check out my video on wonky dominoes, that's this part of that because the wonky dominoes is making sure that the systems and processes are in place, and I really need to slow down. So, what is the pool of chaos? 10 years ago, a decade ago, which is not a long time when you look at things from a high perspective, but when you're in the muck, when you're in the battle every day, it seems like a long time. But 10 years ago, I went on this epic 8,000-mile road trip, and it really changed my life. And I decided to go back to school. I was at a fork in the road, and I had two choices to make. I would either continue down the path that I was on, and to be honest, it wasn't a great path, or I could make a change and do something else. And that is the path that I've been on over the last 10 years. Now, I feel like I'm going to get a little vulnerable, and that's okay. I think that's important. This video is more or less for me than it is for you, but I think that there could be some golden nuggets here or some things that you might connect with, and that is why I'm sharing what I'm going to share. I don't remember where I was. So that happens. I was at this fork in the road, and I needed to make a decision to either change or continue on what I was doing. And that was 10 years ago. So I decided to change, and I went on this 8,000-mile epic road trip and really came to see that I am very small in this world. This world is massive. There is so much to this world, and I felt very small in this epiphany moment that I had on this 8,000-mile life-changing road trip. And during a certain point of this trip, I decided to go back to school for something that I loved. And I love video. I very much enjoy all the components of video. And so I made the decision. I'm going back to school. It's going to be for video. It's going to be for something that I love. And I will learn more about it so that I can do it in my free time. While I was at school, I had a third shift job. So I would go to work at 10 p.m. I would get done around 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. I would go to school, sleep on a bench for an hour or 2 hours, go to classes, do my homework, go home, sleep, do it all over again. And then on the weekends, finish up with schoolwork. I really worked as hard as I could because I didn't want to go back to that old path. So I dove into everything that I could to stay as busy and proactive and productive as I could, and I wanted to take advantage of being a student as best as I could as well. So I reached out. I got pretty ambitious with projects. I did a kinetic typography project that was 59 seconds long, and it took me over 22 hours to complete because there's a far more detail than is even available for viewing pleasure. I know it's there. I don't think anyone else captures all the details that I put into it. But I wanted to work. This meant something to me. So I was working third shift. I was spending a lot of time on these projects. I graduated with over 30 videos, pushing myself in animation, using After Effects, pushing myself with green screen, doing these crazy 20, 30-hour projects that was really good practice and allowed me to test a lot of different things and gave me gave me a good workflow, and then allowed me to attach those concepts to other videos in my professional career. I graduated with 2 clients, and that kind of led me down this path of being an entrepreneur a little bit. I created an LLC because I had 2 clients and it just made sense. Unfortunately, that first year, I didn't push myself hard enough. And I think it was because I wasn't ready. Looking back and reflecting, I was not ready to dive in fully like I am right now. I am in this and I love it. I wish I would have done it sooner. But I didn't. And that's okay, because I kind of, if I'm on this path of growing into who I'm supposed to be, I needed to take a detour to learn other skills and create more success. And that's really compounded my abilities and added more value than it took away from me. So that detour was super beneficial. But now I'm still in the pool of chaos. And what do I mean by that? Well, the pool of chaos is like all of these things that are happening and project managing. And it's not that I'm micromanaging projects or subcontractors or anything like that. It's that I have a lot of stuff going on, and I have a lot more respect for people who own businesses now that I'm also owning my own business and running the businesses. So over this past year, I've worked with 30 different companies, creating over 1,500 videos, working with 7 different subcontractors, and they were working on multiple projects for different brands so that I could continue to cultivate relationships, continue to close new clients, and really set myself up for success in 2025. And that's where we're at currently right now. So there's all these components, there's all of these things. It's a lot of work, 14-hour days. It's just a lot of being distracted, or it was a lot of being distracted. It was a lot of noise. It was a lot of just being in the muck. And I'll never not really be in the muck, but it's removing myself a little bit more from the muck. So bringing on a project manager to kind of help oversee certain components so that I'm working less in my business and able to work more on my business. And that has been one of the biggest paradigm shifts that I've experienced in the last 4 months, is the actual need to work on my business instead of in my business. So that is removing myself from the pool of chaos. And then slowing down is important. I've been a person of burnout. I didn't say that well, but I'll do another video on burnout. But I have flirted with burnout so many times and have just pushed through. And that doesn't serve me or my business well at all. So not burning out, taking time, giving myself permission to rest, giving myself permission to stop. I currently have a app blocker so that I am removing distractions. And this is an agent of chaos. My cell phone is an agent of chaos because it continues to be a distraction. It sucks me into the vortex of, I could look at this, or I could work on this, or I could do that for my business, or I have an idea, or, this or that. And uh, understanding the importance of not being distracted, understanding the importance of being directed in where energy is being thrown, where time is being spent, how I'm spending my time, what types of projects I'm working on, blocking out more time for business blocking out more time to work on my business rather than in my business is part of building, making sure that those wonky dominoes are straight. So I have really been trying to focus on slowing down, and slowing down is part of stepping out of the pool of chaos. There's a lot going on. There's always going to be a lot going on, but it's about being more at peace. I think that working on myself as a continual basis, as I've done over the last 10 years, but really working on slowing down. What are some of the components of slowing down that I'm working on? Working on my business rather than in my business. I work with 7 or 8 different subcontractors, and I'm looking at bringing on a couple other subcontractors to help out with some of the components, but also as a way to give those students, the students that I work with, opportunities to get real-world paid experience. That is important for me. I love being able to coach and mentor students and give them an opportunity to build up their resume by having real world experience that's also paid. I could offer a free internship, but I'll never do something like that for free, because that would be taking advantage of people, and I don't want to do that. So working less in my business and more on my business, and that's making sure that things are time blocked in my schedule. I'm trying to really block out time to make sure that I'm optimizing the time that I have, which is very limited, to the best of my abilities. I do want to work on the wonky dominoes over the first 6 months of the year here, so that I can continue to re-engage in the sales process and start aggressively selling a lot of the products that I've worked on over the course of these first 6 months. It's taking a look at what are the products and services that I offer and how I can break them down and repurpose them for other projects or services or products on an online standpoint. I think there's so much opportunity out there in this day and age, in this world, especially with the connectivity of people online and the need and their want to learn and get just a couple steps ahead. And I know, just like when I invest in a business coach, that I want help with things that are more directed. So I've purchased a couple courses over the last couple years, and that has shaved time off my learning ability. Now I have the ability to follow a certain course, the things that I'm looking for, and I'm saving time because I'm paying money for this course. So I could figure all this stuff out for free, and there's a lot of free content out there. But if I want to shave off time, which is the biggest commodity that we don't get back, I'm willing to invest in my future in order to save the time it would take me to go through that. So what are some of the components that I'm doing currently in my business, and how can I replicate it for online purchasing? Another thing I'm looking at is building the systems and processes in my business. If I look at the foundation of my business, I believe I have a good foundation, and that's something I've worked on over the last year in 2024. And now I got to look at the structure, systems, processes, make sure everything is aligned, because the systems and the processes are going to hold the weight of my company as I push to scale it. And I have growth goals. I want to achieve those growth goals. I have that solid foundation, but now I need a solid systems and processes in place to hold the structure so that it can go. So like that first floor of a building is important for the 100 floor growth of the building, the scalability of the building. So all of these components are being worked on, and that requires stepping out of the pool of chaos. I'm super comfortable in the pool of chaos, like doing all of this work, 14-hour days, not turning off work, just dedicating. Like everything I do is connected. There's really no separation between life and work. It's just my existence right now, and I'm okay with that. But there is a point in time where if I'm burning out or if I'm pushing too hard because I'm swimming around in a pool of chaos, that's going to lead to an unfortunate side effect that I found that could be detrimental to business growth or personal growth or even growing, well, I guess personal or professional growth. So I'm finding that it's really important to step outside of the pool of chaos, just kind of take a relaxing, sit in the sun, dry myself off, look around, and focus on these main components. Get very directed in these certain areas before I drop back into the pool of chaos when I get a little bit more aggressive with my sales. Another thing I'm trying to work on, and I'm not sure if you could tell, but in some of my previous videos, I was much faster at talking. And that's because I am in the pool of chaos. So everything is a lot faster, right? And now I want to make sure that I'm slowing down, and I'm working. I'm not perfect at this, but I am working on slowing down my pace. I'm working on slowing down my thoughts, slowing down my words so that I can articulate well and think about what I'm going to say before I actually say it, and then not jumping in right away like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. So it's all about slowing down and taking time for more directed work and less distractions. So by restructuring my day-to-day processes, my day-to-day activities, I am implementing these components so that I can continue to remove myself from the norm of being in the pool of chaos to something that's unnormal, but very needed when it comes to business sustainability. All right, this was a lot of information. Thank you for letting me kind of value dump that information. It's not necessarily for you. It's more or less for me. Now, in a year, I can look back and be like, okay, well, where was I in my business, and where am I going? Where am I right now? And what did I learn from this? It's like a live video journal type of thing. Kind of cool if you think about it in a certain perspective. That is all I have. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe. Or if you have questions or you're struggling with exiting the pool of chaos, let me know in the comments. I am, I'm here to help you out as best I can, and I would love to have a conversation. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments as well. We're all on our own paths, and what works for me might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for me. But if there are certain concepts or theories that are interwoven between our two existences. Wow, that was like super philosophical right there. Maybe a conversation makes sense. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.